When we go to sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first horror live stream session. I am the Dungeon Master. And today we'll be playing a game called The Hospital. Now I hope you'll enjoy our fine work. Dear Wanderer Fen will be the player. And so as to not break the immersion, I will not be addressing you again, but please feel free to use the chat to comment. Now if you're ready, we shall begin shortly, after a little bit of preparation is complete. Very well. It seems that the preparation is completed. My sound effects are ready. We will begin. You awaken one night to find yourself in a hospital bed. It is unfortunate, but you cannot, for the life of you, remember anything about your name. There are vague memories of the past. You understand your own skills and your knowledge. But who you are, where you've come from, and how you've ended up here, all of that is alien to you. So tell me, what will you do?
What is around me?
You are lying down in a hospital bed. You are not restrained in any way. You are free to move about. There is a window with a lot of light coming through at the end of the room. And there are actually 5 other beds in the room with you, excluding the one you are laying on, and each of them is hidden by a partition.
That's excellent. Do I have anything useful?
You have a hospital gown, a tag on your left hand, sort of one of those patient tags, but nothing else in your possession.
What does the tag say?
Upon inspecting the tag, the only thing that you can see is the wording Red. You suppose it is your name, Frau Red.
Red I am, then. Then let us see what is behind the curtains in the hospital room.
Which curtain? There are 5, Frau Red.
The one closest to the bed that I am laying on.
The one closest to the bed you are laying on. You find that you are at the end of the room. So, the one closest to you would be on your left. Would you like to pull the curtain back?
Then let us open it.
Very well. As you approach and try to open the curtain, you feel a sense of trepidation, a sense of fear. But upon pulling the curtain back, you realize there's nothing there at all. The bed is empty.
Is there anything around the bed that is of use?
There's a nightstand with a drawer and old vase of flowers. The flowers are rotten and old, of course, and it appears the bed is perfectly clean other than that.
Is there anything in the drawer?
You open the drawer, only to find there is an old Bible in there.
Anything inside it if I shake the pages?
Upon shaking the pages, you feel nothing except perhaps a little more like a heathen.
A heathen I am. Then let me inspect the flower vase.
As you inspect the flower vase, you realize there must be something inside the flower vase, other than the dying flowers. Would you like to tip it over?
I would.
Would you simply tip it over?
Tip it over onto the bed.
You tip it over onto the bed. Quite smart of you indeed. As the last of the water drips from the vase, you realize there was nothing in there except some old rotting flowers, and now the bed is wet. Good job.
Not using it anyways. Let us advance to the next curtain.
As you approach the next curtain, you feel something strange.
And what will that strange thing be?
Perhaps the wind knocking at the window. Will you proceed to open the curtain?
Yes.
As you open the curtain, you find that there's nothing there. The bed is empty.
Anything of interest? Another nightstand, perhaps?
No, this bed is empty, but there are 3 more curtained beds behind you, and a window to check.
Then let us continue and check the next closest bed.
You turn directly around you 180 degrees, your curiosity getting the best of you. You decide that you will open the bed. You open the curtain, and as you open the curtain of the closest bed, you find an empty shell of bed. Strange, this one is not even made.
Is there anything in the unmade bed?
Well, there is no bed to begin with. It is simply the shell of the bed frame, I suppose. But there's a hole. There's a tiny hole, small enough for a child's hand, probably not for yours. It is located close to the wall. You would actually have to reach through the bed frame to touch that. Perhaps if you had a tool or an implement, something that could reach through the gap, you could get it. Either that or you'd have to find a child.
Probably not the latter. Time to lick the tools. Let us advance to the next curtain.
As you advance to the next curtain, you cannot pull it open. In fact, you get the feeling it would be best not to pull this curtain open.
Most lovely. Let us carefully advance to the next one, then.
You feel you should leave the room now. You don't know why you have such a feeling, but you feel you should leave the room now.
Then...
The singing stops as abruptly as it started. You should probably leave the room.
Then let us advance out into hallway.
There is only one door leading out of the room, but as you approach the door, there is a loud knock on its surface. And as the knock resounds throughout the hollow space that is your room, you hear a whisper on the wind. Outside the window. Don't open it. Just look under it. What will you do?
What was that? Look under the window? Is that what it said?
I would not know.
Let us look underneath the door. Is there anyone on the other side?
If you decide to peek under the door, there is some small hint of light, but it is almost too dark to tell. You cannot see much of the hallway beyond.
Then let us knock back on the door.
You attempt to knock back on the door. You wait for a response. Nothing.
Then since it is best to leave the room, let us open the door.
You attempt to open the door. Unfortunately, the door will not open. Perhaps you need to follow the earlier instruction. Perhaps. Or perhaps with sufficient force you could force open the door. What will you do?
Let us go inspect the window.
You step away from the door, deciding to inspect the window. As you do, you notice a piece of paper just below the window.
Then let us read it.
The notepaper is a lovely cyan blue, and the notepaper says, "Hey, listen. You should really go to the bathroom after this. Don't ask questions why. It'll keep you safe." At that moment, you hear a click, and the door to your room opens up by itself.
Then let us advance out the door of the room.
Very well. You advance out of the door of the room and find yourself in the corridor. The corridor is, as you can see, it has a few doors to the left and the right. It turns toward the right at the end, and there is a window right at the very end. But something is odd. The bathroom, as you exit the room, is right in front of you. But if you turn your head to the left, one of the doors is open. You get the feeling you should not remain here for too long.
Then let us go into the bathroom and close the door behind us, if possible.
You enter the bathroom and close the door behind you. It closes nicely. The bathroom is well lit and very warm. There is another piece of paper stuck to the mirror, but otherwise it is pretty much a safe space. It is warmly lit and you feel comfortable here.
Let us read the notepaper.
As you pick up the notepaper, it is once again in a blue little script, and the notepaper says, "Listen, it sounds weird, but wash your face before going anywhere else. It'll help you feel better. Trust me."
Then with that in mind, let us follow the instructions of the note.
You follow the instructions on the note and end up washing your face. The water is cold and slightly refreshing, but truth be told, you do feel better indeed.
Is there anything else in the bathroom worth noting?
There's a toilet and a shower with a drain on the floor. That is about it. There's no shower curtain present.
Is there anything in the toilet?
Going against your better human instincts, you decide to peek inside the toilet bowl. There's water and nothing else. What did you expect to find?
You never know. Is there anything else? Perhaps anything in or around the shower drain?
As you inspect the shower drain, you find that it is a shower drain made of metal, good quality, probably German engineering.
Most excellent. So, nothing else of interest?
Nothing else of interest for now.
Then let us very carefully peek outside of the room.
Unfortunately, you cannot do that. If you try, you feel the compulsion either to leave or to stay.
Let us leave the room then. We are done here.
As you leave the room of the bathroom, well, you hear something a little strange, I suppose. As the sound vanishes, you find yourself back in the corridor.
Has anything changed from the last time I was in the corridor?
All the rooms are locked now. Or at least their doors are closed. You would not know if they're locked unless you inspected them.
Then let us cautiously go and check the first door, the one that is closest to us.
There are 3 doors on your left. I suppose you could say you are 3 doors down. There are 3 doors on your left, so you inspect the first one. You cannot see inside the room, even through the peephole. It is far too dark. But it appears you can enter the room.
Is the door locked?
The door is not locked.
Most lovely. Can we lock the door from the outside?
You cannot lock the door from the outside. Did you hear something?
Perhaps. Let us carefully advance past this door, not touch it, and be aware in case we hear it creak open.
There is an interesting smell in the area now. It smells of roses. Roses so red and beautiful. Do you want to advance to the second door?
Yes, let us check and see if it is locked.
The second door is most certainly locked, but here is where something changes. At the bottom of the door, you can smell something wafting through. The smell of rot, something decomposing, perhaps a carcass, but not a human carcass, no. Smells more like a decaying animal.
Can we look through the peephole?
The peephole is carefully covered. You cannot look through.
Let us leave whatever is in that room. Was that the sound of the door behind us?
You would think so, but no. Everything is as it is. The light does seem slightly dimmer.
Let us advance to the next door then, and make sure it is locked.
Okay. You advance to the next door and you check it to see if it is locked. And yes, it is locked. But you have two feelings, competing urges inside you, I could say. One, enter the door and shut it tightly behind you. Number two, run.
Wait, the door is unlocked?
I wouldn't know. You'd have to try.
Let us run instead.
You choose instead to run. Where do you run to?
Run and turn down the corridor away from the window.
You run and turn down the corridor away from the window. Very well. The space is dark, so unfortunately you cannot see much, but there is a room to your right. One room, and a stairwell at the end with a lovely glowing exit sign.
Is there any light coming from the room to the right of us?
There is no light coming from the room.
Can we hear anything?
Can you hear anything? Well, let's see. I don't know what you might want to hear. No, there is nothing.
Let us, against all instincts, go to the room to our right and see if we can turn on a light switch and close the door.
Very well. You find that the room to your right is unlocked, so you enter. It would seem that the lights are on, but oh, what a foul room it is. There's a single bed in the middle of the room. There's no ventilation. Everything seems shut. Oh, no, that's not right. There is a vent. Right on the top. One on the ceiling. And there is a machine in the right corner of the room. A tiny glow emanates from the machine.
Can we close the door behind us?
Yes, you can. You decide to close the door behind you, and you leave it closed.
Can we lock it?
You may lock the door by turning the little bolt.
Then let us lock it. We were running for a reason, weren't we?
You lock the door, and perhaps you feel a little safer. What do you do now?
What can we see in this room we found ourselves in?
There is a bed, but you cannot see under the bed. It is too dark. Even with the light switch on, it would seem things are dim. The room... Is it just me, or is the room getting a little dimmer?
Is there anything that we can see aside from the bed that is in the room?
The machine and the vent on the ceiling. It would appear the room is
Can we
getting
move?
darker.
Most lovely. Can we move the machine?
You walk over to the machine and you find it is a dialysis machine, in fact, yes. The small display is glowing nicely, and it appears you can roll the machine freely. The room is getting darker.
Then let us roll the machine over near the bed and see if we can see anything.
You roll the machine over to the bed, and what do you do then? The room seems to be getting brighter.
Can we see anything underneath the bed?
Now a small area underneath the bed is nicely illuminated, and you notice something. A small spider crawls out from under the bed.
Let us crush it. No one likes spiders.
You crush the spider. It has died a rather gruesome death at your feet. The room has gotten very much darker.
Can we see anything else underneath the bed?
You notice now there is a yellow notepaper on the floor.
Let us pick up the note then.
As you pick up the note, you notice the room gets very much brighter. The note says, Hey buddy, listen. You know what? You really should look under the bed.
Is there anything on top of the bed that is of use?
A very old and dusty sheet. It is brown and stained with something you do not want to touch.
Most disgusting. Let us... Weren't we already looking under the bed?
Well, you could have looked properly under the bed. There's no way to tell what exactly is under there. You'd have to look very closely.
Closely. Is there room underneath the bed for anything to possibly be?
Surprisingly, the bed is in the center of the room. So... a man could fit down there, but he would have to be fairly short to remain hidden. Very skinny, too.
Then let us keep a little bit of distance from the bed and look underneath it.
Very well. As you look under the bed, you hear something. Do you wish to keep looking under the bed?
No, I do not.
Then what would you do?
There is nothing else in the room, is there?
No, there's nothing else apart from the vent, the machine, which is now next to the bed itself, and the door.
How big is the vent?
The vent is small enough for a child.
Not comforting. Let us go to the door and listen and see if we can hear anything outside.
As you approach the door, there is a strange noise, but it cuts off quickly. You peek out through the peek hole to see what is outside. Seems empty enough. The corridor is still as dark as when you left it. Even the light from inside the room does little to illuminate the outside.
Can we bring the machine with us?
You probably can, since it has rollers. Do you wish to turn around?
Turn around?
Well, you're now looking out the door, which means your back is to the bed, the machine, and the vent.
Lovely. Let us see if we can retrieve the machine without getting killed.
As you turn around, the bed is now against the corner of the room, the machine is in the other corner, and the vent is tightly closed.
What was that sorry you cut out?
The bed is now on the right corner of the room. It has moved from the center of the room. The machine is on the left corner, and the vent is tightly shut. What will you do?
Let us retrieve the machine and leave the bed alone.
As you approach the machine, a small notepaper flutters down from the vent.
Let us look at the notepaper then.
The note reads, on yellow paper, "Hey, I told you to look under the bed."
Let us go and continue to retrieve the machine.
As you walk to the machine, you can pull it away from the wall, but do you truly wish to do so?
I do.
The room gets very, very much darker. The only thing that illuminates it now is the glow from the machine.
Let us take the machine to the door so we can leave this place.
As you take the machine to the door, the room goes utterly dark. All that illuminates your path forward is now the machine.
Can we find the door with this light?
Indeed, you probably can, but you would have to fumble a bit.
What happens if we push the machine back to the corner of the room?
The more you push the machine towards the corner of the room, the more it seems to light up. The room is now a little brighter.
Let us return it to its place then.
As you return it to its place, the lighting in the room returns to normal. At the same time, things feel a little better. What will you do?
Let us head to the door of the room.
You head to the door of the room and you find that you can open it.
Let us carefully peek out into the hallway.
As you peek out into the hallway, you realize it is as dark as when you left it.
Lovely. Is the feeling of needing to run and hide still there, or is it gone?
No, you have no longer any urge to run or hide. You feel fine.
Let us go and see if we can approach the exit sign.
Very well. You exit the room and you find yourself back in the dark area of the corridor. As you approach the exit sign, you feel a certain sense of, would it be called dread or anxiety? You don't really know, but you think it would not be a good idea to approach the exit sign right now. Of course, you can ignore your feelings.
Let us go with our senses and then carefully advance back towards the hallway of death.
As you re-enter the hallway, you find yourself feeling alright again. There are still 3 doors, all of them are locked, a window showing outside of the hospital, and the turn to the right.
Can we go and look at the window?
Yes, you may. As you approach the window, you see that, well, to be perfectly frank, you can't really see much. You can look at the street below and everything seems to be normal. People are walking by, they are doing their business. The world seems to be moving on.
Can we open the window at all? Is there anything outside?
Attempting to open the window immediately stops you because you hear a rather loud screaming. You don't think it would be a good idea to open the window.
Let us not open the window then. Can we quickly... You were going to say something?
No?
Can we quickly advance back to the bathroom then?
Yes, you may. As you advance back to the bathroom, nothing happens. You arrive back in your warm, safe and happy bathroom.
Can we wash our face again?
Yes, you can. As you wash your face, however, you hear a little something different. Something that makes you very uncomfortable.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird.
Is there anything...
If that mockingbird won't sing, Mama's gonna
Yes, you may speak.
buy you a diamond ring.
Is there anything in the room with us?
There is nothing in the room with you. You are safe here.
Nothing has changed in the room since we were gone.
I wouldn't know. You would have to inspect it now, wouldn't you?
Then let us inspect, first off, the sink that we use to wash our face.
The sink is pristine and clean, although a little wet now that you've washed your face.
Anything in the toilet?
As you open the toilet, you find that there's water inside there. Wait. Something is hanging out from the rim of the bowl. You cannot reach it. You may need to flush.
Let us do that then.
As you flush the toilet, you try... Oh, no. Better question. Would you look as it is flushed? Or would you keep your eyes averted? Or close the toilet bowl? Who knows? What will you do?
Let us watch.
You wish to watch? Very well. As you flush the toilet, the water is absolutely normal. And the only thing that trickles down is a small piece of wire. A rather lengthy, long piece of wire.
Let us retrieve it.
You reach your hand into the toilet water, knowing it is probably clean, but still feeling a little nasty. As you pull the wire out, you find that it is malleable, bendable, and has quite a long reach. What was this doing in there?
No idea. Is there anything in the shower drain?
There is nothing in the shower drain.
First off, let us wash our hands back in the hand sink. Even though it was clean, you never know.
You wash your hands in the hand sink, and then you hear a whisper. Go back. Go back. That's where it is. That's where it is. Find it. Go. First room. Go.
Let us return to the room in which we awoke.
You return to the room in which you awoke and find that it is pretty much the same.
Now let us go and inspect that hole and see if we can fish anything out with the wire.
How far do you wish to advance towards that hole?
Not get too close to it. Let the wire do the work.
No, I meant how close do you want to get to the bed with the hole?
Oh, is there potentially something underneath that bed?
I wouldn't know. You'd have to decide.
Wasn't this the bed that was empty with nothing on it?
Yes. So you can actually see perfectly fine.
Then nothing underneath it at all.
Okay. So what will you do?
Then let us advance towards the hole.
As you advance towards the hole, the room grows very much darker. You have trouble seeing, but you can at least see the hole now.
Let us use the wire and see if there is anything inside.
Very well. How would you bend the wire?
Into a hook shape at the very end.
Very well. You bend the wire into a hook shape at the end, and you try and fish through the hole. It does actually reach something.
Let us pull it out.
You pull out a set of keys. Small, tiny keys. There is a number on the keys. Number 3.
Excellent. Is there perhaps a nightstand for the third bed that has a number 3?
No, there's no nightstand.
Has anything else in the room changed since we have been gone?
The room has remained dark, but nothing else has changed.
Let us move away from the hole in the wall, back towards where we started in the room.
As you advance back to where you started, the brightness in the room goes back to normal.
Was there not a window in this room?
There was a window in this room.
May we carefully advance towards it?
Are you sure you wish to do that?
Take a few steps, see if anything changes.
The closer you get to the window, the darker the room.
Let us leave it be for now and see if we can find where these keys go to.
Don't. You decide to turn around, and would you like to go back into the hallway?
Not quite yet.
All right.
Is there anything in this room that we might have missed?
No. You've pulled apart the curtains and almost all the beds, except for the last one, of course. And there's a window.
Is the last curtain able to be opened now?
As you approach the curtain, you get a deep sense of dread, but also the feeling that perhaps you really do need to open this curtain. Would you like to reach out and touch the curtain?
Let us touch it with the wire.
Attempting to
Why
even
not?
get near the curtain starts to fill the air with a strange atmosphere.
Let us ignore our better feelings and see if there is any way to open the curtain.
Do you get closer to the curtain, by the way? For instance, would you touch it with your hand or remain touching it with the wire?
Apologies, you were cutting out.
Will you touch the curtain with your hand or with the wire?
With the wire first.
Having touched it with the wire, there is no longer any change. You remain at the same distance to the curtain.
Let us reach out and touch it with our hand.
As you touch it with your hand, the sense of dread grows a lot more prominent, I would say.
Let us open the curtain, if possible.
Are you sure you wish to do that? Well, are you sure you wish to open the curtain?
Yes.
You open the curtain, only to find there's nothing there. But there's a space under the bed.
Most lovely. Is there anything else in the area
Yes.
aside from under the bed?
A small yellow note seems to be trapped between the bed and the frame.
Can we back away from the bed and look underneath it?
It would be possible. Are you going to ignore the note?
Let us get the note first.
Okay. You are capable of backing away from the bed and looking under it indeed. Sorry, did you not hear me? You are capable of backing away from the bed and looking underneath it.
Yes, I did hear that, but let us get the note.
Ah, okay. You decide to get the note, and as you retrieve it, it tells you in yellow writing, "Hey, you really shouldn't look under this one."
Should or shouldn't?
Shouldn't.
Let's ignore this note and back away from the bed and take a peek underneath.
Okay. You decide to back away from the bed, and you take a small peek underneath. At that moment, you come face to face with what has been making that rather nasty sound this entire time. It is a lady's head in a jar of formula, smiling at you.
Most lovely.
What will you do now?
Hmm?
What will you do now?
Can we run out of the room?
Yes, you can. But where will you go?
Let us go to the bathroom and lock the door behind us.
You run from the head in a jar, exiting the hallway and going straight to the bathroom. Do you feel safe?
I know not, but let us lock the door behind us, just to be sure.
You lock the door behind you and take a moment to calm down. What would you like to do now?
Let us wash our face again.
You decide to wash your face, feeling tired, exhausted, frustrated.
I assume nothing in this room has changed in the few moments we have been gone.
No, nothing at all has changed this time.
Then let us give it a moment and put our ear to the door, see if there is anything outside.
You put your ear to the door and you hear a strange, perhaps, knocking. It sounds like knocking. Perhaps.
Can we knock back?
You could knock back. Do you want to?
Was there a peephole over this door?
There is no peephole. At least not this time.
Can we glance underneath the door, see if there is anything outside?
You attempt to glance underneath the door. It is unsuccessful. The room grows darker.
Then let us put our ear to the door again.
You put your ear to the door. You cannot hear anything this time. The room grows darker.
Let us unlock the door and advance outside.
You advance outside into the corridor. The corridor itself is very much darker.
Are the doors still closed?
The doors are open. The corridor grows darker.
Let us sprint down the corridor.
You sprint down the corridor. There is only a single room left.
Single room, which was...
There is no longer an exit sign. There are no other rooms. There is but one room at the end of the door.
Lovely. Seems like that is our only option. Let us go into that room.
You open the room. It reminds you of perhaps a mad scientist's research chamber. The room grows darker.
Is there anything in the room?
There is a chair, possibly a lab bed, a small desk, some old x-rays pinned up on the wall. The room grows darker.
Can we close and lock the door behind us?
You close and lock the door behind you. The room grows darker.
Are there any form of light switches that we can utilize?
The lights in the room are already on. The room grows darker.
Let us advance towards the desk.
You advance toward the desk, and you find a blue piece of notepaper. The room grows darker.
Let us see if we can read it.
You read the note, and it tells you, listen, you've only got one option. Take out the bulb from above the chair and hope for the best. I'll see you on the other side. The room grows darker.
Let us follow the instructions while it is still light enough to act.
You remove the dimming bulb from the machine. Do you hold it up above your head?
Yes.
You hold it up above your head. The room grows darker.
Is there anything else we can do?
There is another piece of notepaper. Surprisingly, you can now see it. It is behind the x-rays.
Let us go and retrieve it.
You retrieve the notepaper. Once again, it is in blue, and it tells you the following. Crouch beneath the desk and close your eyes, or you can open them, whichever you choose. But I wish you the best of luck. The room grows darker.
Let us follow the note's advice and close our eyes.
You crouch beneath the desk and you close your eyes this time. You wait with bated breath, anticipation thumping in your heart. And then, well, you hear it again, this time rather loudly.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird won't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring.
Would you like to open your eyes?
I think not.
Very well. At that moment you feel cold metal. Cold metal blades sinking into your flesh over and over. You can't tell if it was a knife or a hatchet, but it carves deep crevices in your flesh as you scream over and over again. The pain is blinding, but you squeeze your eyes shut. You refuse to see anything, and you don't. But somehow, after your mutilation, one last image lingers in your mind. Just one. You've seen him before somewhere, perhaps before you came here. He does not look pleased.
Most
Ladies
lovely.
and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our first session. We hope you've enjoyed today's play. Next week, we will have something interesting for you once again. Don't worry, it's going to be absolutely different. We hope you've had fun, and join us again next time. This is the end of Chapter 1.